Fractions. Just saying the word, right? For a lot of us, it brings back some, let's say, confusing memories from school. But you know what? It really doesn't have to be that way. Today, we're going to break them down into a few simple rules that will make you totally fluent. Let's dive in.
I mean, seriously, what if they were actually straightforward? That's the whole goal here. We're going to give you a clear path that just strips away all that confusion so you can go from just solving fractions to actually truly understanding them.
All right, so where do we start? We're going to kick things off with the friendliest operation of them all, multiplication. This is really the foundation for everything else, and thankfully, the rule is incredibly simple.
This is it. This is the only rule you need for multiplying fractions. No common denominators, no crazy extra steps. Just burn this one phrase into your brain. Top times top, bottom times bottom.
Let's see it in action. Say we have 2/3 times 4/5. All we do is apply that rule. For the top part, 2 times 4 gives us 8. For the bottom part, 3 times 5 gives us 15. And there it is. Our answer is 8/15. Simple as that. Okay, now that we have multiplication down pat, we can tackle division. Now, I know, it might seem a little intimidating, but there's this fantastic little trick that turns any division problem into a multiplication problem, which, hey, we already know how to solve. So you might be wondering, why does this trick even work? Well, it's all because of a core rule in math. Dividing by a fraction is the exact same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal, and that's just a fancy word for the flipped version of the fraction. And this brings us to that famous mnemonic, keep, change, flip, or just KCF. It's a super simple 3-step process. First, you keep the first fraction just as it is. Second, you change the division sign to a multiplication sign. And third, you flip that second fraction upside down. Let's give it a try. We have 1/2 divided by 1/4. Okay, so we keep the 1/2. We change the division to multiplication, and we flip the 1/4 to become 4/1. And just like that, we're left with a simple multiplication problem. And the answer is 2. So how did we get there? Well, top times top is 4, bottom times bottom is 2. And 4 divided by 2 gives us our clean final answer. See, division is really just multiplication in a clever disguise. All right, we've covered the how-to for multiplication and division. But now we get to the really cool part. This is where you go from just doing math problems to actually having a kind of math superpower. This superpower is called scaling. It's the ability to just look at a multiplication problem and instantly predict whether the result is going to be larger or smaller than your starting number without calculating a single thing. It's all about understanding the effect of the multiplication. And here are the 2 fundamental rules. It's really this simple. When you multiply a number by any fraction that's greater than 1, the result gets bigger. But when you multiply by a fraction that's less than 1, like 1/2 or 3/4, the result actually gets smaller. So what do you think happens when you multiply it by exactly 1? Yep, nothing at all. The number stays exactly the same. This is actually known as the identity property. Pretty neat. Okay, to make this idea really stick, let's use a super simple analogy. I want you to think about using a photocopier, or even just the zoom function on your computer screen. Right? If you set the zoom to 200%, that's a number greater than 1, and what happens? The image grows. But if you set it to 50%, which is just 1/2, a number less than 1, the image shrinks. Scaling with fractions works the exact same way. So let's bring it all together. Here's your little pocket guide to fraction fluency. For multiplication, it's top times top, bottom times bottom. For division, just keep, change, flip. And for predicting with scaling, if you multiply by a number greater than 1, the answer grows. Less than 1, it shrinks. That's the whole game right there. And that's really the big takeaway. We started with the rules for calculating, but we ended with a tool for understanding. This ability to predict an outcome is such a powerful way of thinking. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you can predict answers with fractions, what else in the world can you understand just by looking at the relationships without ever needing to do the math?